I believe people are inherently good, no exceptions. So it's easy then to go to extreme cases and say, what about these people that are causing terrible amounts of pain and damage and destruction and terrorists and people murdering people and abusing people? And, how can you possibly say that you see the good in them, that they're good? I just do. Yes, even in those extreme cases. And I think it's actually kind of cool because those extreme cases almost prove, right, that if people this extreme towards the side of what you might call the opposite of good, right? Some people might say like they're evil or they are monsters, right? Like those aren't even people, right? Or whatever. Um, if we can prove, right, that those people are not an exception. Those people are just the same uh, good as you and me. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And you probably think like, whoa, that's insane. And what a lot of people then do is they jump to this conclusion that if I'm saying that I see that good in those people, that those people are still good, who are also committing all these crazy things that are really painful and destructive and harmful, somehow people then hear that I'm saying that those things they're doing aren't that bad, or that it's somehow okay. It's somehow me making light of the things that they do. And that's not the case at all. There's something that I call standing in the contradiction, which is being able to reconcile two truths that are seemingly in opposition to each other and how they can both be true at the same time. So, in this example, right, what I'm saying is that this person can have done very heinous things, very destructive things, painful things that will leave remnants and ramifications of this damage that they've done, right? They can have done terrible things. And I can still believe that underneath all of that is a good person. They can both be true. That who this person is and what they are doing may not seem like they are in alignment. And in this case, they're definitely not in alignment. But I'm saying that just because they're not in alignment doesn't mean that one cancels out the other and that this one is no longer true. No, who you are and what you do many times are not in alignment, but that doesn't negate it. And I know this from myself, right? My own history, my own story of being somebody who was caught in the depths in such darkness during my addiction. And if somebody had looked at me and just seen the life that I was living, where it didn't matter who I was hurting, it didn't matter. And of course, I'm not comparing in the sense that these are the same amounts of damage. Someone who's like a terrorist murdering people and me and my addiction, right? I get that they're not the same, but the point is the same, is that just because you can't see it from what somebody is doing and how they are living does not change that underneath the way that I was acting, the behaviors that I was living in does not erase the good that was in me, right? It's just, it was kind of hidden. It was kind of buried underneath a bunch of this darkness, so to speak, which I've come to understand is pain. So we're all good people. And then sometimes there's this saying in recovery that hurt people hurt people. So when I'm looking back at me and my addiction, I had a lot of pain. I'd gone through a lot of hurt, a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse. There was a lot that was not okay inside of me. I hated myself. I hated the world. I just felt so much weight. And the way that I knew how to cope with that pain was to continue getting high, right? Continuing doing the things that are going to fuel my addiction. Even if I was hurting other people, lying to other people, cheating, stealing from other people, manipulating and conning other people, like it didn't matter because the greater need was that I'm in pain and I just need a way out. I just need some relief, right? So pain makes us very selfish. Pain makes us very us focused, right? And we probably know this. It's very easy, right? If you have a toothache, it's very hard to like be present for somebody else. If you have something in your shoe, right? A rock in your shoe, it's very hard to just walk along, go on a walk with your friends like nothing's wrong. Like, no, you need to address that pain before you can be present with other people. And what I would say is that if we don't address that pain over time, it kind of becomes a lot of like who we are in our daily lives. We become that angry person. We become that person that's just so hurt and we're lashing out at other people. And we may not mean it in the sense that like I want to hurt other people, but really we're just looking for some sort of solution for the pain that we're in. So that's the same case that I look at with people who do heinous things. Happy people don't do those things, right? People who are at peace with who they are, people who aren't dealing with a lot of emotional pain from their past, maybe even physical pain, right? They don't do those things. So if we can just suspend our judgment just for a moment and get curious about what would lead somebody to do these hurtful, destructive things that we would often call like they're an evil person, they're a monster, whatever it is, we might be able to peel back the layers of the pain and be able to see that actually they're not a monster. And actually, that guy isn't all that different from me at the core of it, right? That if I had experienced the same life that he had been in and that pain and had that few resources or that those skills within me to get help and get some healing, who's to say I wouldn't resort to those same things, right? And I say that because when we're in pain, we're just looking for relief. And sometimes that whole hurt people, right? When we're in such pain and we feel like nobody else gets it, we do this thing where we want other people to feel the pain that we feel, right? Again, I don't label this as evil. I don't label this as like a monster type of, there's a fly here. Um, I label that as somebody who's dealing with pain and they don't have the right resources or they're not taking the right steps to, be open to get help about it. So I bring up those extreme scenarios because it just proves the case for all the rest of us who are somewhere in the middle, right? Who are dealing with pain. The thing is, given the life that I've lived, my history with trauma, my history with different kinds of abuse, you name it, I got it. Uh, and just my history working with so many people in recovery, whether it's in jails and detoxes and rehabs or on the street or like in the corporate world, like we're all the same and we all have like some pain that uh a lot of us don't know how to deal with. So we try to shove it away. And we say that happened so long ago, right? And we just try to like turn it off. No, I've moved on from that. And we just like shove it away But then we see that pain continue to resurface by falling into the same patterns over and over again, maybe now just with different people, right? It's like when people say, like, in romantic relationships, like, oh, it keeps going the same way. Like, the guys always end up doing the same thing. This always happens. Or the girl always, this always happens, right? What we're doing is we're just recreating the same pain cycle over and over again because there's something in our subconscious that's looking for healing. That if we finally handle this situation in a different way, we can break free from this cycle that's been keeping us locked down. But oftentimes, we don't have the self-awareness and the skills to actually break free from it because we're still trying to practice the old methods of making it work, which it often is just not healthy communication. We're being really passive aggressive, or maybe we're being controlling. Maybe we're being very much of a people pleaser. We're expecting them to read our mind, or we're trying to control an outcome and force an outcome with someone who's not emotionally available. Blah, blah, blah. Like, these are the things we do. And you think of it like those behaviors are still that kid in us that hasn't, like, grown up and evolved to that next level of a mature way, an emotionally intelligent way to handle these instances. So where am I going with all this, right? I say this to say, no matter what your story is, right? No matter what you've done that you're ashamed of or that you feel guilty for, no matter what pain you've caused, and no matter what pain other people have caused you, you're never too far gone. Never. You're never too far gone. You're never beyond hope. It's never too late. There's nothing that's so bad that you can't still find your way into healing and resolution and processing this to find some peace. I, I know this from my story, but I know this from the thousands of people that I have not yet met a single person that has convinced me otherwise of this, right? And I've heard it all. Like, trauma and pain and stories of abuse, like, these things don't scare me. These things don't make me run away or want to hide, because I know, and I've done the work myself and with so many other people, that I know that inside of that pain, inside of those terrible stories of what's happened, if we kind of unpack all of that, there's still the light that's in you. And it's possible to unpack that out and to show that again. It's possible. And I guess I say this as a, maybe just to remind you that whether it's you, whether it's someone in your life that you feel like is just never going to get it, I never give up hope. I have an undying hope and an undying, it's even more than a belief. It's not just a belief. It's like an undying knowing and being able to see the good that is still in you. And maybe that's not your challenge. It's you have no problem with the good in you. It's you can't see the good that's in other people. Again, this is where I call this concept standing in the contradiction, right? Where it's like, yeah, the people who have caused you the most amount of pain in your life that maybe you're still working on and dealing with and trying to heal from decades later, those people who caused that immense amount of pain may also be the people that are closest to you, who loved you the most, who you love the most, who are nearest and dearest to you. And you might say, how can these two things be true? Well, just because this pain was caused doesn't automatically equate to these people are bad people, they're evil. and there's no love there whatsoever. Like, no, they can both totally coexist. And that is part of what makes the grief process so difficult for people, is the process of grief and processing all these emotions and pain is the process of like slowly untangling the knot to be able to see that both are true, and we have to untangle kind of like one strand at a time to see that yes, there is love there. Yes, there was good there. And yes, there was an immense amount of pain there. And I'd say in most cases, I won't say all, but in the majority of cases, there's always some amount of good. Even in abusive relationships, right? If it was just 100% bad 100% of the time, that makes it a lot easier to kind of be clear that it's worth leaving. But when there's even like 95% bad, but then 5% of moments where you feel some measure of like connection or love or attention, whatever it is, it's common for us to hold on to that 5%. And that 5% is there, we can honor it, right? And part of the grieving process is not to just write it all off with one stroke as like this is all terrible and traumatic and terrible. Like, no, it's both, right? It also served a need, right? There was some good, and that there can be both, right? So that's the main concept here, is that we are good. People are good. And yet we may do some very damaging things to ourselves and to other people. And that doesn't take away from the truth that we are good. Now, I don't say that as a way to dismiss the bad things that are going on. No, we still need accountability there. We still need boundaries. We still need limitations. We may need, people that are removed from society to protect society while we try to like find the light in them again, right? If that's something they're even willing to do. Uh, but what I'm saying is that if we forget that there's light in people, it's easy to just brush them off as the other. And I'm saying that there is no them. It is all us. It's all us. And the more that we can see that, the more we'll be able to heal. Because then I don't have to just write off you as somebody that has nothing to do with me, that's nothing like me. And actually, we have a lot more in common than we'll ever have that's different. And until we can see that and start to process all of that, it's going to be easy for us to forget the good that's in all of us. Until next time.